for Paulette was with the institution of permitless carry last year, people can be walking around town now with a concealed gun. They don't necessarily even had to have a background check. They don't have to have a permit. And maybe they haven't even had any safety training. So I wanted to know how both Paulette and Representative Earling feel about that. And also, is there anything that we can do in our community to reduce gun violence and at the state level to reduce gun deaths in Idaho?
Okay. So first I'm going to give up my own disclosure. I am a gun owner. When this came through the State Affairs Committee, I voted against it. I got a lot of heck for it because I live in Benoit County where everybody wants to own guns and do whatever they want with guns. I have an uncle who's a gun owner. My kids own guns. They're hunters. We're avid hunters in our family. When this bill came through the Second Amendment Alliance, they were terrible. They were bullying committee members, making threats, but I still was the standalone no vote, along with a few other counterparts who were in the Democratic caucus, John McCrosty and Melissa Winslow. And Representative Elaine Smith was on the committee at the time with me too. So the 4 Democrats voted against. We voted against again because it comes through as an RS for introduction, and then it comes around again for hearing, and in that portion we voted against it as well. When it came to the House floor, we voted against it. So I will continue to vote against it because, number one, even as a gun owner, I believe in accountability. I believe in gun ownership responsibility. And I'm going to continue to promote that regardless of what others may feel. The Second Amendment Alliance group is very aggressive in the state. Now they're trying to take over, they're trying to say that if you are not for this legislation, that you are anti-gun. I don't know if anyone's watched that, but they were pretty much my number one, I was the number one target. But they were the most vocal throughout this entire campaign season. They're going to come back around. They're pushing for out-of-state recognition. To answer your question in regards to what we can do about it, I think the challenge will be, one, ensuring that our people here are prepared for gun owners and people who want to carry. We've had gun shooter training because we received a threat in the State House. So both sides of the House were trained in just simple gun shooting. I think the challenge will be trying to prepare our people to just those sorts of reactions. When a gun owner walks up to you, how to respond to that. Our police officers are trained, and they're going around training schools, they're going around training communities. I would think that we should have that here. I would like to see that in the rural setting as well. As far as legislation goes, this is a body that is 84% Republican. And if they are swayed by small groups like that in this state, it doesn't give me much hope, but I'm still strong in my own positions to not be swayed. But I guess maybe Matt has a different response to this, but I think that the challenge will be, how do we deal with this locally? So to me, the best piece is education, and continue to push it. And you're doing a fabulous job, so continue holding your meetings and try to educate others about this issue, because even as a gun owner, you still need to believe in accountability and background checks, certification, all those things matter. And even as a mother, they matter to me. My children are trained, and I expect other people to be trained. So I stand with you, and we'll see what we can do down this pipeline.
We all voted no on that bill. We also voted no on guns on campus, too. And we're going to vote no on the piece of legislation that they're pushing through this year, and the Second Amendment Alliance is nasty. I started reading the mean tweets that they would send me out loud and recording them. It was pretty fun. But I got called a lot of names, which blows my mind, because it's an issue just like any other issue. But the bill they're going to push this year is to make it so that anyone who's a non-citizen of Idaho can carry a weapon concealed without a permit. So they're going the next step. You can come to Idaho. Idaho's a sanctuary state for weapons in your coat. So that's their plan. That plan, I'll vote against that too. But I will tell you this, that in Idaho, you're 7 times more likely to be killed with your own gun than you are to be killed with a threat of another person. And that 7 times more likely to be killed with your own gun is from suicide. And so if we're going to end gun violence in Idaho, then we need to focus on continuing to expand and grow the suicide prevention hotline, finding ways to fully fund mental health care for those that are struggling in their life. And I also think that Idaho has a great culture for hunting and fishing and being on the public lands, and weapons is a piece of that. I do not take that away from anybody, and I believe that that's a big piece of our culture. We also have a right to protect ourselves. That said, if we can't win these debates on whether people should have permits in their coats and all these things, and then what we should be doing is turning and saying, okay, if this fight isn't winnable, then what is winnable? And I would argue that having conversations about triggers locks and gun safes and how to properly handle a weapon is a way to decrease gun violence in Idaho. My first year in the legislature, I was so naive. I mean, I'd already been there as an intern under Shirley, and I pitched the state bank, which went over like a lead balloon. But this one went over like a lead balloon even more. I pitched that we would do a 2-year sales tax holiday on gun safes and trigger locks, so that gun stores could start to really push this idea of, in addition to your weapon, buy a trigger lock, buy a safe. Because we know that gun violence with children is caused by a kid finding a gun in the home, and it's loaded. So I pitched it. I thought it was a kind of good idea to have a conversation about gun violence in Idaho and really what we're talking about. I had a naive freshman with me who was a co-sponsor, who was a Republican, until he got into the building, and all the other R's were like, he has a pretty bad set of cooties, you're going to need to stay away from him. So he dropped me like a hot rock, and the bill fell apart. But the point is if we're going to be creative about gun violence, then if we can't win a fight over here, like concealed weapons for non-residents, then let's win a fight talking about hunter education and gun violence, and that is a fight that we can win.
Okay, so hi, I'm Tina. If everybody can hear me, yay! Oh, I don't know. So, the thing that I want to talk about is teaching older folks how to use technology. If you're a younger person, I consider myself almost 40, I'm a younger person. I think it's important to document. If you're out in an event, Facebook Live it, take pictures, show yourself on camera, record wrongdoings. I think this is what we can use as proof. They can look at a video of somebody getting beaten up over an arbitrary whatever, but that person is being beat up right in front of you. If you're watching it on a computer, you're a witness to that crime. So I really encourage younger folks to teach their elders for a change. We're all taught how to be good people from our elders, how to respect one another and get along in a community from our elders. We as younger folks, we need to return that favor. We need to tell them and teach them how to use this technology and not to be afraid to not know. All they have to do is say, hey, so-and-so, hey, I don't know how to do this. Will you teach me? We'll have tea, we'll have crumpets, we'll have whatever. But I think it's important for the younger people to reach out to the elders and not just think that, oh, you don't understand, go ahead, sit down with your pickets. No, we need to stand up and use what we have, use the technology, and spread the word so everyone, not just in Idaho, can see injustices happen in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. And a great point, because I remiss on mentioning social media. In fact, for those of you who don't follow the newsletter or emails, I'm actually more involved in social media via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So I feel like I have a whole generation of people that are connected, but then I'm still missing those who want letters and emails. And so if you are ever interested in getting involved with social media, I would help you. Anyone here can help you, like Tina's saying. Children, grandkids, they can help you out. So that's very helpful because I think for me, it's easy to just simply put up a message the day of or the minute of, and it's much simpler to stay connected that way.